Hello, everybody, and welcome to our last edition of Transforming with Poetry.
Wow.
This is a very special day. It's our last day of the year, poetry-wise, in our events. And we are joined by very interesting poets today. And we'll have a special guest as well, right from the beginning. Let me see if I can find my sharing screen. Yes, I'm going to share with you our program. So we'll have Vera Moreno. Hola, Vera. Hi, Vera.
Hello. Hi.
And then we'll also have Samar, Shahdad, Maggie Hall. Hello, Maggie. Robin, Mike Baynham, who is still about to be connected. Mussarat, who will be joining us remotely, and myself. So welcome to everybody on the other side in Facebook. And we're going to start with Vera. Vera is a really interesting writer that is, you know, her publication now, well, she has a book, the latest book, El Gimnasio de los Rotos, highly recommendable, but also she's been published now in Poetry Life and Times, and we will be sharing some of her work, and she'll be able to read some of it and tell us her impression about her own work, and obviously we can ask questions to Vera. Hola, Vera. Hello.
Hello. Good evening. Buenas tardes a todos y a todas.
How is it going? Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm very happy to be with you and to share my poetry all over. I don't know if it's all over the world, but I have the impression that it's a multicultural connection or something, no, with many different nationalities.
Yeah, that's correct. In fact, it's not only with the entire world, it's with the entire universe, as you can see beside me.
Yeah,
Vera,
I will follow you.
Vera is a bit closer to planet Earth than I am.
Mm-hmm. We love flying, I guess.
Yeah. So Vera, we have a selection of poems that you have sent to us, and we're going to be sharing them. But I'd like to invite you to just interrupt me or say things about what we're going to see. I remember that the first one that we had here was Outsider. Is that correct? Is that the first one that you'd like to share?
Yeah, that's fine. I thought we were going to start with the video poem, but it's okay.
We can start with the video poem. It's easy to start with the video poem as well. I have
because
everything
it's a
kind of
way.
ready.
Yeah. To listen to myself in Spanish. Now the way I usually speak.
Yeah. So, which of the two videos would you like to
El
show?
sostén perdido, please.
El sostén
If it's
perdido.
possible.
Oh,
Yeah.
Let me see. El sostén perdido.
That video poem belongs to my previous book. It's called La Naranja Entera. That's the thing.
Okay, let's go for it.
Okay.
El sostén perdido. Después de amputar mi brazo izquierdo, de quitarme la nariz, de dejarme los pies en los zapatos, de olvidarme el pelo en el cepillo, de depositar las orejas junto a los pendientes. Después de encontrar vestidos con cinturas marcadas, rebuscar cuellos entre bufandas, jugar con anillos olvidados en guantes, de apoyar mi almohada sobre un pecho amable. Después, descubro que, ahora, no encuentro el plano de la baldosa que me sostiene.
Wonderful.
Okay, thank you.
Would you like to tell us something about this wonderful video?
I think it was my first video poem. And this poem is being translated into Dutch and Anglo, Esperanto. So it's one of my poems that already has traveled more. So maybe that was the reason why I wanted to start. And there is, at the moment, there is no English translation yet. I haven't done it. And well, I think I'm realizing that I have a concept of time, of, you know, like the time is passing and something is happening, and then you should survive again, no? And this is how I felt it now when I was listening to it, because I felt not as younger as before when I wrote it. And well, sometimes you lose the support that you have for granted. I think this is briefly what is it about.
If you want, we can share the text in Spanish on the screen.
Well, if it helps, it's okay.
Okay, yeah, let's see. El sostén perdido. Wonderful. Would you like to read it again so that our audience who have a grasp of Spanish perhaps can follow it in a
better? Okay. El sostén perdido, as your last support or your lost support, something. Hoy me gusta la vida mucho menos, pero siempre me gusta vivir. César Vallejo. Después de amputar mi brazo izquierdo, de quitarme la nariz, de dejarme los pies en los zapatos, de olvidarme el pelo en el cepillo, de depositar las orejas junto a los pendientes. Después de encontrar vestidos con cinturas marcadas, rebuscar cuellos entre bufandas, jugar con anillos olvidados en guantes, de apoyar mi almohada sobre un pecho amable. Después, descubro que ahora no encuentro el plano de la baldosa que me sostiene.
Excellent. And it's included in the poem book La Naranja Entera, the full.
Yes, I don't know if you can see it. This is
wonderful. Yes, fantastic. We've seen an image of your book, El Gimnasio de los Rotos, yeah?
Yes. Well, I just thought that a funny translation of this book in English, it was the Broken Bodies Fitness Center.
Yeah.
Because somehow it's how I feel it. You know,
what motivated this title and this book?
Well, it's a personal story. You know, I had a little crash, I guess, or, you know, my leg was injured, and then I at the end I became to one of the broken bodies who went to the fitness center, and that fitness center, it was specific only for broken bodies, and it was an excuse for me to see how fragile we are. And because the first part of the book is about all my worries about how the 21st century was going. I didn't know exactly where we're going, and I thought that something was going to happen. Now we know it, but this book won the prize in December in 2019, and it was going to be published in the lockdown. So I don't know. It's a kind of like a future vision somehow, and I think that the main thing is that like we should not work that much in order to arrive to the Broken Bodies Fitness Center. And if you read the book, it should be okay, you know, with no more than that. But you have the opportunity to see different stories of different people and how they were dealing with the bodies and with health system, and well, with many different things.
Yep.
And yeah, in one of my things is like I love playing with sounds and words, and I experiment with all those in some of the poems.
So we have you have chosen certain order for the poems and for the versions in Spanish and versions in English, but there appear to be instances in which both languages merge in the same poem.
Yeah. Well, the first time, well, in these two short poems, I took them because they were short and it's easier for you. And also because I use two languages, because sometimes it's like English is not my mother tongue, but I feel so connected, especially with some of my friends. Martínez, one of them. And then in some of my poems in Spanish, I write also in English. So in here, I was just playing the other way around, and it was transforming. My poems, they were transforming by the translation. So I'm going to read it. This little one is supposed to be in Spanish. Outsiders, tan frágil, tan fuerte. Somos la palanca del mundo. Remember, handle us with care. And the Hebrew is like outsiders, like in Spanish, they will say something like desde los márgenes, but also I like to use the word outsider in my own language. I think it's a good concept that we don't have it in the Spanish. So fragile, so strong. We are the engine of the world. Remember, tratadnos con delicadeza.
Muy bien. Yeah, and you chose, it's a lovely way of interacting with the language and feeling free about the words as well.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like for me, sometimes I mix them both languages. It's not easy to separate myself. Sometimes I make a combination of both languages. So I'm a weird person, I guess.
We have now another instance of your bilingual poetry, and we have one called The Outsider Vision.
That's it. And the quote is also in English. That it says, "From a distance only the light is visible." Janet Winterson. Existe una cabeza lámpara para iluminar lo que nadie ve, aunque a veces no se vea el bosque, ni la rama, ni el árbol. Hay quien tiene una lámpara que mira a tantos que no ven, y la sombra reconoce su luz.
Wow. Fantastic.
Pardon?
Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay.
And then you chose Un Ojo Atrás, yeah, for the...
Yes, it came out when I was translating, because in the previous version, it was like the outsider vision, and I felt like it was impossible for me to translate that concept. When I was, it's a kind of perversion of my mind. I'm a very rebel person. So when I was supposed to do something that it was not the right thing, now it came. Un ojo atrás, like one eye behind. So it was my Spanish way of translating. So I don't know. I cannot explain myself. I'm very whimsical.
You don't have to explain it. Let's see
how
the poetry speaks for itself.
Yes. Desde la distancia solo es visible la luz. Janet Winterson. There's a headlamp to enlighten what nobody can grasp. Many times, though, quite difficult to see the forest, the bench, or even the tree. Quite difficult. There's someone who has a lamp that looks at so many blinders, and the shadow follow its light. Here we are, the fourth Duchamp's dimension, the shadow in the picture. This is found in translation.
Wonderful. It's a marvelous coincidence that that we have here with many of us in the audience, and also in the special people room on this side in Zoom. because we're going to talk in a few minutes about something called found in translation with our friend Samar here. And I can see that you do something that I recognize on my own poetry, which is use translation as a stepping stone, to another, perhaps a slightly different poem where there are additions. Because this came about, I guess, that it came about after you wrote the original one, or the first one. I don't like the word original. The first one in Spanish,
Yes.
Here we are, the fourth Ducham's dimension, the shadow.
Yeah, the poems are still growing, I think.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So thank you for inviting.
No. It's wonderful. I believe we have now some of the poem that we saw in Poetry Lives and Times. Yeah, we can go to it.
Yes.
Courtesy of Robin, who is joining us as well today. I will share straight from the page, and in the page, Vera, it's first in English. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Remember that we always have these two schools of thought about what language to show first.
Yeah.
So here we are, and in this page, we can share that. Perhaps Robin could share the link in the chat. We can share it later. You can find also your short biography of yourself.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna read it using my because I'm gonna wear my glasses. Wait.
Yeah.
Because it's too small for me.
Fine, it's fine.
Okay.
I'll make it slightly bigger. What about this?
Okay, perfect.
Transforming with poetry is about inclusivity. Remember this, yeah?
Okay, thank you. Much better now. I can leave my glasses. Okay, so give me more. Okay. Otherwise, okay, let's start. Well, I will say thank you to Robin for doing this magnificent work with all this publication and Hislop. A fuck up life. Living in Zurich to work in a small town. Working in a small town to live in Zurich. Everything for a small retirement benefit. Everything for tomorrow's future. Every single morning, the alarm o'clock. The train leaves at 6:09. The train leaves at 6:09. Teaching 3 modules when the rest of teachers teach 2. Wishing to change that, and as the cuckoo, open your beak, but nothing changes. Getting up again. Taking the same seat at 6:05, sleeping on the same train seat, on the way to work, sleeping and standing, on the way you're back, yawning at the wrong time, getting to the small town exhausted, getting back to Zurich more than exhausted, knowing that today is a piece of gold for the retirement benefit, the precious golden retirement benefit. Cooking not so much, cause the lack of sleeping. Don't dream much. Don't dream much. Fuck up life. Living in Zurich to work in a small town. Work in a small town to live in Zurich. Having a reduced future for a little retirement benefit in Switzerland. Having a reduced morning to sleep or not to sleep. Or not to sleep. Never dreams. Sleeping on a train, but never do it in class. Can't get out. From the clock, from the cow, from the knife, from the cheese, from the Swiss, fucking snow, can't get out from fucking Switzerland, from fucking Swiss. White clean tyranny.
Wow, really powerful. I could
Yeah.
hear the train,
That's
moving.
great.
I could hear the train moving.
That was the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel pity because I didn't choose. Another one is about the butcher, and it's like you hear how she's cutting the meat, but it was a little bit long, and I thought it was better just to choose shorter ones. but well,
Okay, shall we do the Spanish one?
yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe people they would like to talk in between or not. Just reading. I don't know. Jordan, I make.
We don't usually do questions in between poems.
The reading. Okay.
Between the reading, we don't usually do it, but that doesn't mean that if we cannot do it. If there is anybody wanting to ask a question, use the chat. Yeah, but let's see the poem in Spanish. Okay.
Okay. Una vida jodida. Vivir en Zúrich para trabajar en un pequeño pueblo. Trabajar para vivir en Zúrich. Tener una pequeña pensión para el día de mañana. Cada mañana el despertador. El tren sale a las 6:09. Impartir 3 módulos cuando el resto imparte 2. Querer cambiar. Y como el cuco, abrir la boca. Levantarse de nuevo, sentarse a las 6:05 en ese tren. Dormir sentada, dormir de pie, dormir en el tren de ida, dormir en el tren de vuelta, bostezar a destiempo. Llegar al pueblo, exhausta. Llegar a Zúrich, exhausta, sabiendo que el día cotiza en bolsa o en la pensión. Cocinar poco por el sueño. No soñar. Una vida jodida. Vivir en Zúrich para trabajar en un pequeño pueblo. Trabajar para vivir en Zúrich. Tener un mañana reducido a una pequeña pensión en Suiza. Tener una mañana reducida. Dormir o no dormir. Dormir o no dormir. En el tren sí, en clase no. No poder salir. Del reloj. La vaca, la navaja, el queso, la nieve.
Wonderful. We have some comments in the chat. This is beautiful. Oh. Thank you. So, yeah, well, it's quite obvious that you have done slightly 2 different poems, yeah?
Yeah. It's a terrible follower, I always jump. But I think it was a nice opportunity to work with my material because I don't know if you know Tom Leonard. He's a Scottish poet. I really love him. And he has phonetics poetry. I live in Scotland and I met him and I was so inspired by him. And somehow it's like I really appreciate his work. And for me, if I'm trying to reach my poems, because I always focus on the sounds, I think that English sounds better. You can play more than with the Spanish. I don't know. In this version, I think in English I can play. I can be more playful. I don't know what you think. So I don't know.
Wonderful. We have another comment here. I'm really enjoying Vera reading. Spanish is a beautiful language.
Okay.
You recite very well. We have yeah, I agree with you about the English. It's not that English is a better language for poetry than Spanish, but there are certain things that work better in English and certain things that work better in Spanish. And we have seen examples of this in some of the work that we have showcased in Transforming with Poetry. So well to come, por venir.
Yeah. Well, another freestyle translation, I guess. Well, okay, let's see, because I don't see you. Let me wait a moment.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. World to come. They call you world to come because you never come. Ángel González. Lies ahead, the González world to come. Lights ahead, my angel. This so expected morning. We couldn't imagine it. So rotten. I see it through the Apple Store window at Seoul Square. In our open gate to heaven, that 21st century world to come. With hard chorus from soccer after the game is over, being heard by ear headphones at the metro exit, Callao's screen unique high, paying by our e-wallet thanks to our fingerprint, Wi-Fi live, lazy, and wireless. From that named world to come, I've seen how Madrid City is already New Delhi. It looks as if the Indignado movement has been deleted in our memories. It looks as if we haven't realized yet, my angel.
Wonderful. And the same poem or a similar poem in Spanish.
Okay. Te llaman por venir porque no vienes nunca. Ángel González. Por delante el porvenir de González. Por delante, mi ángel, esta mañana tan esperada. No la imaginábamos tan podrida. La veo a través del cristal de Apple en sol, en nuestra puerta al cielo. Ese porvenir siglo XXI, con coros del fútbol fuera del fútbol, escuchados por auriculares oreja, a la salida del metro, ojo pantalla del Callao, pagando con nuestra huella no wallet, una vida wifi atada, pero sin cable. Desde ese nombrado porvenir, he visto cómo Madrid ya es Nueva Delhi. Parece que nos barrieron bien a los del 15M. Parece que no nos hubiéramos dado cuenta, mi ángel.
Excellent. The 15M is a very important moment in Spanish recent history. And obviously, it has motivated, it has led a lot of people to write poetry about it. You know, that was even, you know, there are compilations of 15M poetry. And I have to say that that is what took me to write.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm a late comer. I'm a late comer. Anyway, and the last poem is a video as well. Hilando el hilo. Yeah, and we're gonna listen to the last poem and the last video. Would you like to? What would you like me to do? Share the text first, or share the video, or?
Well, maybe ask to the listeners what it helps more to understand, or to, if they, I don't know.
Okay. What do you prefer? Put in the chat V for video. It's like V for vendetta. Yeah. V for video or T for text. Let me see. And then we're number crunching, processing all the data, arriving in our spaceship. We have V seems to be winning, definitely. So we're gonna show the video. Okay, let me navigate through my various screens here in our control tower. Share screen number 2. Here we are.
Desde el otro lado del cielo, te digo que la riqueza no se mide por el número de corazones atrapados. sino por la sonrisa de tu corazón abierto. A veces quiero plantar árboles con raíces en las nubes, que las ramas acaricien el suelo, que besen los frutos, que duerman en almohadas de pétalos blancos. Quiero que los niños jueguen con las sombras del verano, la rama rozando la tierra. Muchas veces quiero imagina que en una misma mañana todas las costuras del mundo se deshicieran. Imagina que en este mundo desastre se perdieran todas las tijeras y que poco a poco, con hilo fino, se cosieran uno a uno todos los corazones rotos. Imagina que en una misma mañana todos fuésemos un hilo de miradas, una misma marea, una misma paz, un mismo juego. Vivir la vida.
This is a wonderful poem as well, and it's very translatable. It's very translatable. I was thinking all the time about breaking, making all the seams disappear, getting rid of all the scissors. Yeah, it's a wonderful combination of images and aspirations for everybody, for humanity as a whole. I think it has been, quite transformative for many of us, and I'm sure that the audience enjoyed. Vera, would you like to read it in Spanish again or say a few words before we continue? I can't hear you, sorry.
Sorry, because the volume was so difficult. I just switched it off. Well, it depends on people. If they want it, I'm happy to read it. It's up to them.
Okay, let's one more minute to say goodbye with the text in Spanish. It's worth going through.
This is a combination of 3 poems. They belong to the previous book, La Naranja Entera, the whole orange. And well, it was a funny way of doing the video poem, and I'm not going to talk more. That's it. Let's see. Hilando el hilo. Desde el otro lado del cielo te digo que la riqueza no se mide por el número de corazones atrapados, sino por la sonrisa de tu corazón abierto. A veces quiero plantar árboles con raíces en las nubes, que las ramas acaricien el suelo, que besen los frutos, que duerman bajo una almohada de pétalos blancos de cerezos. Quiero que los niños jueguen con la sombra del verano, la rama rozando la tierra. Muchas veces quiero. Imagina que en una mañana todas las costuras del mundo se deshicieran. Imagina que en este mundo desastre se perdieran todas las tijeras y que poco a poco, con hilo fino, se cosieran uno a uno todos los corazones rotos. Perdón.
Well, we have lost connection momentaneously.
Sorry. I apologize. I'm going to read it, this little part. Imagina que en una misma mañana todos fuésemos un hilo de miradas, una misma marea, una misma paz, un mismo juego, vivir la vida.
Muy bien.
Casi me muero.
Bueno, al menos iba a morir por una buena causa.
Sí, de una muy buena, una preciosa manera. Me acuerdo que me hicieron una pequeña operación y me desperté recitando este poema. O sea que está muy conectado con la vida.
Bueno, pues muchísimas gracias. Thank you so much, Vera. We hope to see you more often here. You are welcome to join us anytime. We have one event like this every month. And because it was your first time and we wanted to celebrate your publication, etc., we gave you the opportunity to, show a little bit in depth your poetry, but you're welcome to join us anytime. Anytime.
I will do it, definitely. Yeah, thank you so much for offering me this space and I'm really looking forward to listen to all of you, because I think that it's a great opportunity to know each other's poetries and feelings and all that. So thank you.
Thank you so much. We're going to move now to our friend Samar Shahdad. Hola, Samar. How are you? You need to unmute your microphone.
Yes, I did. Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Good to see you again.
Yes.
I'm really looking forward to seeing you face to face, I miss you all. How are you doing? How are you doing, Antonio?
I am doing fine. I'm doing very well. Here in outer space, there is no inflation, there is no deflation, there is no COVID. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Everybody agrees.
To space then to meet.
Everybody agrees with me here.
I don't have money. That's the problem.
Everybody agrees with me here, Samar. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think we need to meet on Moon. You need to travel to Moon to meet without face mask.
Yeah. So we as you remember, we started to this fantastic initiative found in translation. A little bit of serendipity there with Vera's found in translation.
Yeah.
And we are now starting to see the fruits of the fantastic work carried out by our team of wonderful translators. We will have another event like this soon. It's actually not an event, but a workshop. So you will be able to see the date of our next activity so that you can participate in the translation. And I'd like to remind you that we will be publishing the work, the fruit of this excellent initiative within our webpage of Transform Me with Poetry, Poesía Indignada. And Samar is going to read some translations into Persian, but apparently I need to help with some of the reading. So Samar, of the two documents that you sent me, the one of Carlos Drummond and the other one of Ascoises, which one would you like me to share first?
Ascoises, I can read that in Portuguese. It's a very short poem, and I can read the Farsi translation. Then we can do the second poem, which is, I believe, translated into Spanish by Ariel, our friend, and I can read the Farsi translation for that poem as well. So we have two poems, one in originally in Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, and the second one in Spanish. Then I can read the Farsi translation of both poems.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
let me have a look. I need to tidy up a little
Yeah.
bit this.
Yeah, while you're doing that, I wanted to mention something.
yeah.
As Vera was reading one of her poems, I think the poem was in English and Spanish, which is very interesting because it happened to me very often that when I'm thinking or when I'm speaking, I use words from different languages, and I feel like my mind is scattered. I don't have one language when I want to think or when I want to speak. That's very interesting. And I like the idea of not writing a poem in one language. I think if poem should reflect our mind, I think there's nothing wrong with bringing in different languages, because I'm sure it's not only me that we experience on a daily basis, especially if you work with language, if you are a poet, and if you are interested in different languages, that different languages, you employ different languages. You don't have to employ them like in a way like writing or speaking. You might be thinking in certain language and you just shift from one to another. This is my experience. I don't feel like I have one language on a daily basis when I'm using. I mean, I always say that there are 3-4 languages that, depending on my feeling and the context, I go to. I mean, Farsi for me is a language of loss, because I'm coming from a country that I've not been to for over almost 15 years. And when there is a yearning, longing for family, friends, the country I was born in, I like to read things in Farsi. I like to listen to Farsi or Persian, Farsi Persian music. And when I want to avoid getting very nostalgic and sad, I avoid text written in Farsi or music in Farsi. When I want to think about life and living, because that's been my experience over in the UK, English is a language for me. It's a language of liberation because of many concepts that are forbidden to be discussed in my I don't want to say first language, mother language, because I don't see Farsi as my first language anymore. Let's say issue of gender, like certain issues that are not discussed on a daily basis in Farsi. So English has been always the language of liberation. That's been my experience. Also, when it comes to love, I think Spanish and Portuguese is a language that I'm very connected to, I'm very emotional about these two languages. But as I said, depending on how I feel, I travel back and forth between different languages, and I really could understand the idea behind that poem, and I really appreciate that, Vera. Thank you very much for sharing it with us.
Fantastic. We're going to share now. Thank you, Samar, for that insightful contribution, as ever. So we are going to start with, you tell me what you want me to read. Okay, I'm happy to read in any of the languages here.
You can read all of it. You can read in Farsi too.
But you tell me to read, and I will be the reading machine. Okay.
Thank you. I think I'm going to do, well, I have to mention these notes that you see, Amanda's version from Samar's original translation, is because we did that translation workshop with several people coming from different countries. I think, Maggie, you participated as well, if my memory helps me. Yay! I was still young. I still remember things.
We are going to see some of that work later, aren't we?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I believe.
Yeah, so Amanda is a good friend of mine from Brazil, and she's coming actually to UK. I asked her to bring me a flag, Brazilian flag and Brazilian tea. I gave her a long list. Anyway, I'm going to read this poem in Portuguese. It's not very long. As coisas não querem mais ser vistas por pessoas razoáveis. Elas desejam ser olhadas em azul para serem essa aliança que você encara como ave. So the Farsi translation for that poem. Thank you. Yeah, it's a long draft because we've been working on it.
Is it this one?
Yes, well, that's the problem. When you have a text in Farsi in a Word document, I don't know what we need to do to support that language. I have it somewhere, copy pasted on my phone. If you allow me, I'm going to read it from my phone. So the Farsi version is اشیا بیش از این نمیخواهند که توسط مردم عاقل دیده شوند. آنها میخواهند که به رنگ آبی دیده شوند. کودکی باشند که تو به سان یک پرنده به آن خیره میشوی.
Wonderful. Is there any of the versions that you like me to read for the sake of variety, or because you like my voice or whatever?
The idea of including this poem in our collection for the translation workshop was I bought a collection of poems by Manuel de Baus, and this poem is me and our friend Mike Baynham had a very long discussion about the last line. I don't know if this translation, this English translation, is the one included in that book, or is it something that we did it ourselves? So I don't know. Can we find that English translation? It says, I think it says it's Amanda's version. I'm not sure because we included in that document that the poem been taken out of a collection called Demolition of the Birds by Adra Navy. She's the translator who translated it from Portuguese into English. So I'm not sure who's this translation, but just to give an idea, I'm not certain where this translation, whose translation is this, but I just want to give you an idea about how difficult it was for us to translate. So we didn't know. Here we talking about child looking at the bird or bird looking at the child, and that was very difficult for us to determine. And I think that's the beauty of translation, because everybody can look at the poem in their own way. You know, I don't know, Antonio, maybe you can comment on that.
Yeah, I can see your point. Yeah, but the important thing is that we make a decision. Yeah, I think that is crucial, and the decision sounds fine, but of course it could have been translated differently. I think it sounds very powerful in English. You want me to read it?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Things no longer want to be seen by reasonable people. They want to be seen in blue, to be the child you stare at, bird-like.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I believe we can move to the second poem.
Yeah, because look at this. Yeah, look at this. So they can be the child you stare as a bird.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have all these combinations here, the Spanish one. Las cosas ya no quieren ser vistas por gente razonable, quieren ser vistas de un azul que ni un niño al que como ave observas. Okay, these are drafts, yeah? And we have, these are drafts, and we also have it in Polish.
Polish, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so the other poem is, let me see.
Carlos.
Yeah. Yeah, it's coming up. Carlos Drummond.
Drummond. From Brazil again.
No, sorry.
No.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Oh, here it is.
Okay.
Let me press share.
Yes, if you can please read the maybe do we have the Spanish version done by Ariel, our friend, who is also part of a founding translation group?
Yeah, we do. I'm going to make it slightly bigger for the benefit of everybody, and also I get really quite annoyed about the red on the line.
Oh no.
You know, it feels like if I was at the school and they were telling me off. So I'm going to do this fantastic operation of.
You need to teach me. I know absolutely nothing of Word document. I just know how to type in and close the document and email it to myself.
Okay, so I think
I can do with the Word
I
document.
think I'm ready.
Yes.
I'm ready. De la mano.
Mm.
No voy a ser el poeta de un mundo marchito. Tampoco voy a cantar el mundo del futuro. Soy prisionero de la vida y observo a mis amigos. Están despiertos, pero tienen grandes esperanzas entre ellos. Considero la enorme realidad. El presente es tan grande. No nos cansemos mucho. Vamos de la mano. No voy a ser quien cante sobre una mujer, sobre una historia. No voy a suspirar de noche, ni suspiraré un paisaje más allá de la ventana. No venderé estupefacientes ni cartas suicidas. No voy a escaparme a islas, ni seré raptado por serafines. El tiempo es mi materia, el tiempo presente, los hombres presentes, la vida presente.
Thank you.
And then we move on to the Farsi.
Yes, Farsi translation. دست در
Okay.
دست. Thank you. دست در دست. نه شاعر جهانی کهنه پرست خواهم بود و نه جهان آینده را خواهم ستود. اسیر زندگانیم و به همراهان خود چشم می‌دوزم. آنها که خاموشند اما امیدی بزرگ در دل دارند. در میانشان واقعیت عظیم را جستجو می‌کنم. لحظه حال سرنوشت ساز است. بیا تا خسته نشویم. مبادا از نفس بیفتیم. بیا دست در دست همراهی شویم. نه از یک زن خواهم سرود و نه از یک حکایت. نه به گاه غروب آه خواهم کشید و نه از چشمانداز آن سوی پنجره خواهم گفت. نه مواد مخدر و نه یادداشت خودکشی توزیع خواهم کرد. نه به جزیره ها خواهم گریخت و نه توسط صرافین دزدیده خواهم شد. مسئله من زمان است. زمان حال، مردم حال، زندگی حال.
We don't have a version of this in English, I was saying, do we?
No, we don't. We
Not yet.
were working on the poems and it took a lot of time. Then, yeah, everybody's trying to do one version in their own mother language. Hopefully we can, hey Mike, we can complete them all.
Yes.
online.
Well, yeah, I look forward to the very final versions of this
Yes,
because we need to publish them. We need to
yes, we know
put them
too.
on the website.
Absolutely.
And yeah, we also need to decide what we do. We need an editorial meeting because we need to decide what we do with
Yeah.
the drafts that don't make it to the final version, but perhaps are worth considering, because contrary to what used to happen in the pre-digital age, we don't have any problems of space. We can publish as many versions as we want. It's fine. You know, the computer is not going to explode. We can let people enjoy more drafts. Yeah. This is
True.
not like when you had the book and the publisher going to you saying, we only have 85 pages and, you know, I can't afford any more paper. So no, it's fine. It's fine. We can share the drafts. Those are poetry as well. Why not?
Yeah. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Samar. Hope to see you soon. Okay.
Definitely.
Okay, and now we are going to fly to Australia. Hello, Maggie. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me back. I have I have a video poem
Mhm.
which is quite a short one for me, and it was created out of necessity because I needed to have something very quickly And so I looked at the book before me that I was reading, The Man of Sorrows, written by Albert Hubbard many years ago. And of course I couldn't choose something from that book, but there is something that he's put in, Walt Whitman had written, and I thought, oh, I know, that's pretty, I'll just do that. And so I did. And put together something in about 15-20 minutes. So that's what you're about to see.
Okay.
And it is,
Your
Walt Whitman's To Him That Was
honesty, Maggie.
Crucified.
Sorry, your honesty is overwhelming, you know.
I can't.
I like that. I like that type of openness and honesty as well, you know.
Oh, and after that, this is just a short, I'll do a short reading of, 1 year ago, I did my first video poem, again, for necessity, so I read out something that I very recently beforehand put together, for the season. And so I'm going to read that after the video poem, just if for nothing else, because it was the first thing I've ever done on Zoom or connected with poetry online in any way. So this will be after the video poem. I'll read that for you.
Okay, here we go with the video poem. The video poem is currently published in Transforming with Poetry, our YouTube channel, but at the moment it's unlisted. Yeah, Maggie, but whenever you want, we can make it public. Yeah, if you want. Yeah. Okay, shall we play it?
Yes, please. To him that was crucified, my spirit to yours, dear brother. We, enclosers of all continents, all castes, allowers of all theologies, compassionators, perceivers, report of man. We walk silent among disputes and assertions, but reject not the disputers, nor anything that is asserted. We hear the bawling and din. We are reached at by divisions, jealousies, recriminations on every side. They close peremptorily upon us to surround us, my comrades. Yet we walk unheld. We, enclosers of free, to him the whole earth over, journeying up and down till we make our ineffable mark upon time, and the diverse errors till we saturate time and errors, that the men and women of races, ages to come, may prove brethren and lovers, as we are, before and since and succession. We hear the bawling and we, few equals indifferent of lands, indifferent the same charge on us to surround, my comrade. Yet we walk unheld, free, the whole earth over, journeying up and down, till we make effable mark upon time and the diverse errors, till we saturate recriminations, time and errors, that the men and women of races, they, ages to come, may prove brethren and lovers, as we are. Okay, so there you go.
I'm sure it took you longer than 15 minutes. Come on.
No, it actually took the longest for it to buffer after I put it together in probably about 10-15 minutes, 5 minutes for the video and the green screen, and then I did 2 readings of the of his work from beginning to end. And because of the time that the video took, I just cut it at the end of the time and then put that to the beginning of the next sound. Yeah, so it turned out to be 3 layers all up of the reading. Anyway, so
can I ask you, Maggie? Can I ask you something? If you don't have to answer, you don't have to give me an answer, because I don't want you to feel that I am revealing the secrets of of the master. Yeah, here.
There are no
Who is you?
secrets.
No, but you know, I'm wondering. When I was listening to the poem, and when I've listened to other poems in which you've used this technique, you know, trying to follow the words and enjoy content when there is an overlapping, particularly in other poems where the overlapping is more intense. Yeah. Suddenly you start listening to one single voice, and the impact that has, you know, on your brain, on your ears, you know, is very distinctive, is very unique, because you know you may have heard those words in any other poem, in any other situation, but they don't have the effect that they have now when you put the audience through the overlapping tracks, and then suddenly one clear voice appears, and you get a glimpse of words that are related to the other. You know, this is a new way of engaging with the readers, and I think it's an extremely valuable artistic contribution. You know, some people who, you know, perhaps don't are not used to audiovisual poetry perhaps may say, well, this is just two tracks going round and round. It's not. It's actually a very artistic form of presenting the words. So congratulations. Do you have all these things in mind when you construct these poems?
So I've been an artist for most of my life. From very early on, I was always very fascinated in behavior. I think it's anthropology, the behavior of animals, people, why people do what they do. And I guess that comes from certain problems or medical issues I had. My brain sort of went in that direction. And in a way, I became a medium of sorts, because I couldn't do other things, and I couldn't think in a certain way, and I couldn't go to school like the other kids and learn in the same way they could. So I guess I learnt to see things and understand things and connect with things in a different way, more of as a medium. And so my instinct, or my feeling, that part of me, perhaps the first brain, I'm not sure which one it is, or the second, became the strongest. And whereas I guess a lot of people, it's not so much that way. So everything I do, my painting, my printing, my writing, everything I do, whatever medium I choose to do it in, it is done in the same manner, without thinking, and just following, not even thinking or feeling. It's just doing without thinking about it. And like with painting, a lot of your greatest or best pieces are done perhaps in moments. And if you spend more than those moments on that work, then it no longer is the work that it could have been, which is perhaps quite special. And it's the same with, I guess, what we call video poems. I call it an art form, a medium art form. I like to think that through what I do, I bring out the person who wrote the piece, and perhaps putting a notion towards what they were feeling when they wrote it, as opposed to just reading a work and going and analyzing it. It's through the experience of listening or being there when I do the layered readings, that you feel like you are them in that moment, because you're not analyzing and working out. You've just got that instinctive first moment. So sorry, a bit early for me, so I hope I'm making sense, but
Yeah,
I do hope I've
makes
some way
perfect
answered
sense.
your question.
What time is it in Australia now? Is it 7 in the morning?
It was 4:30 when I woke up. It is now 7.
Okay.
Mike. Yeah, so is it okay if I
Of course,
if I
of
read
course.
that? Unless if anyone has any other questions, I'll go forward. But just quickly, so the Man of Sorrows, this is the Scholar Select version. Give me a quick second.
I like the
The
song.
original, the
the
original version
manifesto
is actually It is actually in animal skin. I don't know if you can see. It's beautifully embalmed in his name, and the inside has a silkina with his own writing, and it's the most. It's just a piece of work. It's a piece of art. Each page is. I'm sorry, I'm too tired to explain. Anyway, that's the original book. I didn't want to use it or open it because it's too precious, so I bought this version.
Okay.
Blah blah blah. So here we go. This is the first 1 year ago, the first video poem I ever did for an online Zoom poetry evening. We three kings of Orient are, bearing ships we travel afar, field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star. They came to visit, three orbs dressed as one. Three archangels came one by one. They came as three kings in search for their queen, to seek solace, to bear wisdom, to find peace. They came through clouds with a sight-read song, to find the little boy who had lost his drum. Star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to perfect light. A prince with rubies for eyes, an emerald for a tongue, the little boy without his drum, he turns to time. Please, may I have some? Born a king by Bethlehem's light, gold we bring to crown him this night. King forever, queening weather, over us all to reign. Waiting in a dress of red, time watches patience hook up the next thread. A single prayer, a lost son, a lone promise, a forgotten golden son. One day he will come, I will wait for him, I will die for his sins. Gliding over fire in a bed of red wine, we watch over clouds and dance under the sun. Three orbs reading in a castle made of stone. The first turns to last as the second beckons to a sleeping star. We beseech the fourth to move on, that in time as the day comes, we are all free to be reborn. What was that? Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Jupiter and Saturn will soon be aligned. A Christmas star through the centuries come. Reading at a table and waiting for the feast. The beast has lost his wooden spoon and hidden my whip where it's safe by the moon. Round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, tired and in rest by the heavenly skies, falling asleep before Jupiter's eyes, awake in heavenly peace while Saturn stands in your place. As double planets melt into one, we praise the Lord, our Saviour is born. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Yeah, so that was the 1 year ago, and the first and happy holidays to you all. What a beautiful thing that you've all done. Transforming with poetry, with words and images is everything. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You
Maggie,
are
that was wonderful.
Maggie, you are wonderful. You're wonderful, and we're really, really proud that you are with us and that you're part of this. And
thank you for having me.
yeah,
I feel blessed to be
we
here.
are shaping together.
And great voice, great voice.
Oh, coming from you, Mike, that's a lovely compliment. Thank you.
Okay. So yes, our next event, Maggie, will probably be January or February. We need to decide. Okay.
Okay.
And yeah, we hope to see you. We hope to see you again. Yeah.
I'll have some lovelies just for you. Yeah.
Okay. Keep in touch. Bye. So we move on. And now we have our friend Robin Ouzman Hislop. Hello, Robin. How are you?
Hello, fine, okay, here in Spain. How are you?
We are very well, actually. Yeah.
I mean, in UK, what's it like now?
Politically, I prefer to restrain myself because we are live on Facebook. I don't want our channel to be shut down.
All right. Well, I hope not. I hope I'm not causing that for fun.
I don't want to speak my mind about what's been going on in the UK in the last 5 years politically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, we have better things to see and enjoy. One of them is your poems.
Yeah.
You sent us 3 poems.
3 small video poems.
Yeah, video poems. So I imagine that the order is, first of all, Out of Range. Is that what you wanted?
Yeah, we'll start with that one, and then Signature Rerum, and then the last one, Out of Play. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, I'm going to bring them up on the screen.
They all got subtitles on them, so you can all trigger on the subtitles.
Yeah, subtitles.
This first one, Out of Range, actually I did about a year ago, and at that time I was being impressed by narrative prose writing and the elegance of it, the simplicity of it. And I tried to aim at the same thing in creating a long narrative poem piece. But I think it was a total failure. So I sort of took the piece and and then I reconverted it into a video poem in which I greatly reduced the content and just aimed at rhythm and meters and impressions and images. So that's what happened with this poem. Yeah.
Okay, let's watch it then. Thank you, Robin.
Mauve sky, gray pine, dawn breaks, range, out of black, ripes, out of black, pale blue and green, 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 green. A multitude of the unseen, out of range, 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 range. Chorus in the pine, as drone of traffic closing in, closing out of range, the leaning day, where leaning freezes, where leaning melts, leaning, 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 out of range, a parade, like a pageantry, a pattern of events, move, as when, the arrow's flight disappears, out of range, we sleep on air. swifts on flight to distant skies. Skies disappear right out of the black, the fragrance of dawn breaking with its breaking mirage of green out of trees majestic or monstrous, their litter of dead wood like bones strewn, bones strewn, ruins of the dikes, a deluge of rocks fallen to an overgrown tomb out of range, a full dawn moon fades indifferently, fades out of day, out of range, out of range, out of range, out of range. Okay, so all those pictures, all those photos that you see there, they're all taken from local environs here in Avila. Yeah. So the next poem, Signatura Rerum, yeah.
Yeah.
The poem ends with saying, after Walter Benjamin, who was a German Jewish philosopher, and he was influenced by, in this context, Signatura Rerum, signature of things, by a theologian philosopher, Jacob Bohm, who was had the concept that every part of creation had a particular signature to it, every bit. But I mean, it got rather theological. Walter Benjamin tried to get out of that with the language of things and develop a theory of language, which is not so, doesn't work completely, but he moves on into sort of talking about the language of things as into the philosophy of art and the creation of art as a means of communication of everything that exists in the process of creation. So basically, that's why this is called Signatura Rerum.
Okay. Thank you, Robin. Let's press the right buttons. Yeah.
Don't forget the subtitles. Signatura Rerum. Mother, milk, mortal, moon, pearl of my heart, inscribed, though not as your oyster, entangled in our womb tomb, our spin of light and dim, right, left, right, earth-born, brain, our entangled word, splits in the pond of meaning. The myriad ramifications, resemblances, and the music of the sea reflect, anti-reflect, gravitate our entropy before we began in our entangled dawn, in frame, in the language of things. After Walter Benjamin,
Fantastic, Robin. I love Walter Benjamin. I've read him, and it's a very inspiring figure for many people, not just for me.
yeah, for theory of art, especially in language, yeah.
Yeah.
So this last poem, perhaps you get my drift because there's some repetition of words always now following all my poems. They get repeated in different ways. And so from the sort of language of things, I've been very influenced recently reading about plant life intelligence, and I've always been sort of there with sort of thinking about sort of intelligent life in everything as a cognitive process. And we just sort of like reflect in one part of that process. And so this poem, I think, is still sort of evolving that idea.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, we
Out
are
of
ready
play.
to share. Out of play.
You got the, you don't have the
Yes, I have them.
subtitles?
Yep.
Out of play. Constantinople, Tenochtitlan, fall. In a war of the gods, it was their destiny, for gods care nothing of the mortals, and even the gods must fall. A spot, a stain in the universe, the soft world spinning a trembling balance on, the wing of a flame as the candle burns down, its tip an arrow's flight. Where? What comes after before, and how? How does the sun go down on this pixel patch gallows gate is brought through to wake, to dream? Our affinity, our presence sensed, the sensed emulation mimicked. The context is read as the property of an event, a ghost, a goat, a god, a profusion of smashed acorns on the dirt road, where hanging bowers of canopies don't take offense at the writ served upon them. Majestic monsters, discoverers across the desert's dunes, branches, wafting ribbons, dulcet waving arms, flowing as if a mayday, opening into the game. Malignant plague roams the empty streets, crying, bring out your dead. lost in translation. Thank you.
No, you are setting the standards here, Robin, with these wonderful poems that, you know, I like the idea of poems that make sense in themselves, by themselves, that are later given images and music, and that they show the text as well, because I think it's very important that we remember that poetry, audiovisual poetry, comes from poetry. It's not that we are, I mean, in the majority of cases of the work that we see here, it's not that the image comes first and then you add few words, and this is poetry that is moving into the audiovisual, but it's still poetry.
Yes. Yeah, I'm getting more and more interested in developing, you know, the poetry scene on the audiovisual level, and I like experimentation in it a lot. So I particularly liked Maggie's experimental approach. I thought that was done very beautifully.
Well, thank you so much, Robin. Happy New Year to you and to Amparo, and we hope you have a very productive Christmas with all these poems and videos. Okay. Keep doing them. Okay, and we are going to we are reaching the end of the program, really, because we had a shorter session today. I would like to apologize to our friend Anne, whose comment I just saw on Facebook, and I only saw your comment 1 minute ago, so I think it's perhaps a bit too late to participate, but please send me your love. Let me send you my love to you and Rhodes, and keep those points for the new year. We are approaching the end, really. We have Mike Baynham with us. Mike has been so active that really, perhaps, I don't know if you need a little bit of time as a spectator.
So I've been running around today. I've been running around. So this is a poem. Bob Dylan, in his kind of really sort of rich period of writing, had a big thing for Rambo. And so this is called Bob Dylan's 116th Dream. Bob Dylan did a song, because we probably know Bob Dylan's 115th. This is the 116th Dream. I dreamed I was Rambo, a scared and angry boy, locked in a cellar under the stairs as his mother wept and raved. How he raved and wept and longed for her, as he longed for his lost father's kisses, longed to discover, to break out into the world beyond, his mind fizzing with words like a firecracker, as he tried to answer her, and vanished along dark and ancient paths, tracking ancient musics, traveling where reason would never follow him. How he longed to cultivate in that darkness, in the roar of freedom in his head, where words and music collide like traffic, a new reason, another dawn beyond poetry, towards which he stumbles through the African sands, wounded, gangrenous even, his love diseased, but spirit never weakening, the anger still strong, rifle bruising his shoulder. I dreamed of him. I dreamed I followed him down all those drunken paths.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Mike, I had your title as well there on the screen.
Here I am.
I had it ready for you. I had it ready. Anyway, so would you like to read another one or say anything?
There's one more.
Yeah, go for it.
sometimes, as you all know, I write poems in Spanish, and this poem came to me. I went to an exhibition at the V&A about Frida Kahlo, and it's called Frida en la Casa Azul. And there was a phrase from her. She writes, "I'm not sick, I'm broken." I had no idea how wounded she was physically until I went to the exhibition. Read it first in Spanish, and then I'll read the translation into English. Viviste con él, con tus sueños y fracasos, en una casa pintada azul, donde aullaban los Xoloitzcuintli, perros sagrados en el patio iluminado por las nubes de jazmín, velándote en tus noches doloridas, este cuerpo dañado de luz. Desde joven, acariciado por los monos, dibujabas códigos aztecas en el yeso de tu sufrimiento. 2 agujas lastimando tu carne, una otra tus huesos torcidos. Dormiste en tu cama blanca entre sábanas de cotón ancestral, tu pez traspasada por esa herida antigua, compartiendo el calor de tus amantes y de tu amiga imaginaria de siempre. Tus pupilas, color de un pueblo entero. So, Frida in the Casa Azul. You lived with him, with your dreams and disasters, in a house painted blue, where the Xoloitzcuintli, the sacred dogs, howled in the courtyard, illumined by clouds of jasmine. Watching over you in your pain-filled nights, this body damaged by light. From very young, caressed by monkeys, you drew Aztec codes on the plaster of your suffering. 2 needles, hurting your flesh, another your twisted bones. You slept in a white bed between ancestral cotton sheets, your fish pierced by this old wound, sharing heat with your lovers, and with her, always your imaginary friend, your pupils the color of an entire people. Thank you. That's me.
Muchísimas gracias, Mike.
De nada, hombre.
As ever, a genius. I loved it. Thank you so much. Happy New Year to you and your family, yeah?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bueno, we have a comment in the chat. Muy chulo, congrats.
Gracias, Vera.
Bueno, and we're going to move to the last one before the last. Mussarat Rahman. Mussarat is not here. Mussarat is a Bradford artist, more than a poet. She produces plastic art, audiovisual art, and we're going to see a very quick video and also a poem that she has sent for today's session. So let me see if I can find the right. No, I don't think we need subtitles for this one.
I am human. I am human. I am human. Man, I am human. 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 Man, I am human. 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 I am human.
It's
I
really
am
visual art.
human. I am 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 human.
So that was the poem by, well, the audiovisual work, yeah,
I love
by
that.
Mussarat, by Mussarat. Hopefully she'll be able to join us next time, but unfortunately she had other commitments that she could not avoid today, but she sent this video. And then I have another one here, and it's wonderful to find coincidences because Mussarat, like I do, she also writes about goddess, not the goddess or one goddess or this or that goddess. And this is a poem that she has sent for today. And I put it in this format so that you can enjoy the text and Mussarat's voice. So here we are. Here we are.
Mussarat Rahman. Goddess speaks. As the mountain moves and the earth quakes, I am not asleep. I am of divinity and awake. My hair is the rich fertilizer of the soils, flooding into the river from which you drink. My body is the earth on which you live, and you walk across my flesh seeking sustenance. I am abundance in all. When it rains, this floor becomes my tears. And when I laugh, the world has sun and clouds. But when in mourning, I bring the storms, bringing death and destruction at will. For I am that I am, wielding the power of nature that speaks rhythmically, beating on silent drums that echo throughout the world, pulsating signals of challenge and change, brought to you by the ultimate power of nature, in the sounds of the seas, the rivers and the oceans, conveyed in the myriad of birdsong, by the creatures big and small, as we are all of God's creations, with a destiny surmounted in the starry skies. Our destinies are ultimately entwined, like the movement of the celestial stars, the joyful dances played out by the sun and moons. We are both feminine and masculine, becoming androgynous into the world as one.
Well, that was the poem by Mussarat. We seem to be developing a goddess cult here in Leeds, because there is another poet, Siobhan McMahon, a very good friend of ours, who is part of Transforming with Poetry. She's been very actively involved in Transforming with Poetry, who also has wonderful poems on goddess. Perhaps we could have one evening dedicated to divinity and anti-divinity nature, because there seems to be, a lot of good poetry around that theme. And thank you, Mussarat. We hope to see you in real three-dimensional life or on the screen soon. And I think it is now my turn and I'm going to be extremely brief. So in 2016, I decided to say Happy Christmas to people by pretending to be goddess. You know, goddess sends you a Christmas card, yeah. And I published this this Christmas card in my blog, using this image that I am featuring tonight, which is copyright free. It's from NASA. And here is my farewell to all of you. Well, it's not my farewell, it's Goddess's farewell, and Merry Christmas. Happy Christmas from Goddess. When the poor shepherds realized that the skies actually harbored at least one star for each one of them, and for all their descendants for eons and eons, they made peace with each other as love flooded their hearts. As it was cold, they fed the embers with some old self-righteous books. From that day onwards, they stopped bothering me with their naive prayers and beautiful, utopic, desperate songs. So thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed today. We will be showing this video in our YouTube channel as well, although you can access it through Facebook. And see you in 2022. Bye, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Yes.
Yeah.